see all you people out there on the old interwebs telling me how bad my picks were over the weekend. That I picked the Jets to win. I picked the Dallas Cowboys to win. I also picked the New York Giants to win as well. And you know what? I was 3-0 on all three of those picks. So sometimes you got to go out on a ledge. You got to live life in the danger zone as the fast lane or whatever you want to call it. And you got to live and die by those picks. And that's exactly what I did. I said the Jets would have the biggest upset of the weekend. They did. The Dallas Cowboys come back and won. Well, they were leading the whole way, but they won. And the Giants won. 2-0 in New York. So all you people out there that said my picks were dumb, Joe, Tebow, you're idiots. I'm the man. I play the game, and I see it. Combsy, cue that intro.
Are you ready for the best damn sports radio show on the planet? Man, our nation, rise up.
You know on the beat every time, no. I would like to personally welcome you to Man Hour After Dark. Say that thing. While I bring you the host, Mike, Buck, and Cone. You know who's coming to the stage. Sports talk than what you about to hear right here. I second that.
Go. You know that it's us when we talking about sports. Giving you facts on the field to the core. Tune in, we need the support. 1 hour too short, then listen some more. On all your stations, not dropping no music. Starts like Adidas, but Nike just do it. Down 4 in the 4th, we go for the win. Michael 2 seconds, we taking it in. Buck, Mike, and Combs, you know what's going on. Man, now we're after dark, no LA, we the big spark. No 4th and inches, won't cut short. Got the best talking, it's all sports. Buzzing more than buzzer beaters. We coming live all through your speakers, go.
And what is up, Man Hour Nation? Michael Buckhashi here with the Man Hour. Sure to head over to manhourradio.com. Check out the merchandise page, and of course, check out the blog section as well. Got some new and improved blogs over there. Got the Packers blog, got the Bills blog, got the Jets, Eagles, Giants, Cowboys. Who else we got? Miami Dolphins, 49ers. I think there's a Chiefs blog over there. All the good teams are out there. All covered over there at manhourradio.com. Of course, we got some new merch happening over. Stay Tomorrow Need You merch as well is live over there at manhourradio.com. So be sure to check that out as well. All proceeds go to Luke G's non-private or private organization there, the afgs.org, help prevent suicide. So, gotta welcome the man, the myth, the legend himself, Mr. BC Combs, is to the show. What's up, Beasty?
What is going on, Michael Buckheiser? What is going on, man? Our nation. You know, it was a tough weekend. I mean, the Bears, the Packers, I thought for sure this was a different team, a different season. I still kind of feel that way, but it was not a fun ride. The lack of RPO, the lack of play calling from Luke Getsy was astonishing to me. I kind of felt like Matt Nagy was back at the helm, to be honest with you.
He should have been. You guys would have been better off, that's for sure.
Oh, God, stop it.
So, I mean, on the bright side, Combs, you have nice, clean, shaved balls. So you got that going for you, because you used a lawnmower 4.0, right?
Yeah, absolutely. I love my lawnmower 4.0. I love the everything that we got from Manscaped in that package. I use it quite often. I'm going to be using it here after the wedding to pay off this debt that I owe you, because the Kansas City Chiefs did not lose on Thursday Night Football. As I thought
wait,
they
you're
would.
doing it after the wedding? Are you?
I have to do it after the wedding, man.
You can't grow a beard back in a month.
I'm not. First of all, you owe like 9 things from last football season that you still have not paid off on. So
what
I don't even want to hear it.
I paid all my bets, man. All of my dues are paid.
Not. Okay. All right.
Name one.
We're
gonna
run the tape back, but I have to wait till after the wedding. The wife will kill me if I don't.
We're going to get you drunk the night before and shave it for you, just so you come out clean shaven.
Oh my dude, she will lose her mind.
Man,
she will lose her mind.
I kind of want to see that a little bit. I ain't gonna lie.
I don't.
Happy.
I know what
happy
it's
wife,
like when
happy
she
marriage,
loses
right?
her mind.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean,
Speaking of
happy wife, happy life. Is that what they say?
yeah, something like that. I haven't figured that out yet because I still poke the bear, but
Yeah.
it is what it
I'm
is.
the same way.
Speaking of blowing their minds, Buffalo Bill fans, Colmsy, they are absolutely blowing their mind after this 2-0 start that they have beat down the LA Rams week 1. Last night on Monday Night Football, they absolutely destroyed the Titans. What was it, 41-7? And the Buffalo Bills are looking like arguably one of the most dominant teams in the NFL. So that's exactly where we are going to go on this way or no way. Way or no way, Combs, the Buffalo Bills are the most dominant team ever in the NFL. The key word there is ever.
So there is a lot of football left to be played here. I'm going to go no way right now, but they have the potential to be. And this team has the potential to average 40 points a game. This team has the potential to hold opponents under 15 points per game. They might not play a game that's close this year. If they do have a hiccup, I have a feeling it'll be against one of those divisional opponents, right? Like they might stumble in Miami, or they might stumble against New England. You know what I mean? Or the Jets might surprise them on a week where they're looking ahead to a big opponent or something like that. I don't think that there's a team in the NFL right now that can hang with the Buffalo Bills. I really don't. The defense is unreal. Josh Allen right now is playing out of his mind. I mean, he's completing 75% of his passes. He's already got 7 touchdowns in 2 games. I think his passer rating is something like a 124, 125, somewhere in that area. Like, I don't know if this is a year-long sustainable type thing, right? Like, I don't know if this is a 17-0 team. But I do know that there's not a team right now that they could go up against in their schedule. Like, I don't know what their schedule is, but I can guarantee you that if we go through it right now, I would tell you they're the favorite in every single one of them, because this team is that damn good. It's been a long time since I've seen a team this damn good, but this is that team.
Yeah, I mean, they are definitely flex on the NFL here the first couple weeks of the season, but we have kind of seen this before, right? Like, we've seen teams get really high, like, oh, this team is dominant. Like Arizona Cardinals a couple years ago. I guess it was just last year, right? And then we had the Carolina Panthers, like, oh, this team looks like a Super Bowl caliber team after like 3 weeks. We probably need to pump the brakes a little bit. Now, I'm not trying to discredit it whatsoever at all. They are a very, very good team. Von Miller looks like a fountain of youth out there. I don't know where he got his legs back, but he looks fantastic right now. And I was 100% wrong saying that he was over the hill. As of
He's
right
on a
now,
mission, man.
Yeah, I mean, like, I believe he wants to be the first player ever to win 3 Super Bowl rings on 3 different teams or something like that. I think it is.
Yeah.
But yeah,
Yep.
I mean, it's definitely very, very possible with this. But when we think of most dominant teams ever, we have to look back at the 2007 New England Patriots. This team was rostered with a bunch of, quote, over-the-hill players, right? There was Junior Seau on that team. Randall Gay was on that team. Troy Brown. I believe Randy Moss was on that team as well. I mean, we had a lot of players on that team that many people thought were well past their prime, and they made this dominant team in New England in 2007. They went 16-0. I think they ultimately went 19-0 and what they lost in the Super Bowl to the Giants, if I'm not mistaken, if that is the correct year. My memory serves me correctly. But I would say the most dominant team ever was that team, because that team, you didn't know how they were going to hit you. Was it going to be another touchdown pass to Randy Moss, or were they going to run the rock 30 times a game? Like, it was so unpredictable. And with the Buffalo Bills, you pretty much know what they're going to do. They're going to fling it all over the field, get to Gabriel Davis, get to your boy McKenzie Isabel right, Stephon Diggs, and then Josh Allen is going to stiff arm a guy into the dirt when he gets pressure. So to say the most dominant team ever, no. I have to say the 2007 Patriots were the most dominant team ever.
Yeah, I mean, it's really hard to say who the most dominant team ever is, right? In any sport. Like, look, I'm a Bears fan, right? And what do people always say? Bears fans can't let go of 85, right? That
Exactly.
defense was ridiculous. But like this team, like they've got really good running backs. They've got really good wide receiving core. They've got a quarterback that can throw the ball and run the ball, and he's the size of a freaking fullback.
Yeah, he's
like
big.
You've got a defense that is just like, I mean, look, Tennessee is not world beaters by any stretch of the imagination offensively. They're not that team that I feel can score 40 points at any given moment, right? Unless Derrick Henry accounts for 35 of them.
Which he won't. He's over the hill, right?
Well, no. But that's you're an idiot. Okay. That's not what impresses me about the Buffalo Bills is that they just look like nobody can touch them. They look like nobody can compete with them. They are just outclassed. They played 2 games, so I'm not going to get on this long rant of these guys are going to go 17-0 because look, it's impossibly difficult to go 16-0, let alone 17-0, and then run the gauntlet in the playoffs. But if a team has a chance, it's this team. If there's a team with a chance this year to run the table, it's the Buffalo Bills.
So when we look at the Buffalo Bills schedule, let's just look at the next 4 to 5 weeks alone. If they can come out in this 4 or 5 weeks unscathed, we might be looking at a 17-0 season, and I would definitely be jumping on that bandwagon with you 100%. Because week number 3 they travel to Miami. Miami is a very hot team right now. They come down for 21 or 28 points down on Sunday. Baltimore Ravens, they're not a terrible team.
Both on the road too.
Yeah, they're both on the road. And Lamar Jackson threw for 300 yards, I think, over the over the weekend as well. And then they're at home versus the Pittsburgh Steelers. That's kind of a toss-up game. What are you going to get from the Pittsburgh Steelers? And then you have at Arrowhead and then the Green Bay Packers on Sunday night. So, I mean, these next 5 weeks are very crucial for the Buffalo Bills. And barring injury, it would not surprise me one bit if they go 5-0 through this next 5-week stretch. But then they have the hiccup, exactly like you said, a division foe at New York Jets. So if there's a hiccup, it is going to be exactly what you said. It is going to be a division foe with somebody we don't know, a.k.a. the New York Jets. It is probably going to be the New York Jets after that gauntlet of games. And again, then they got the Jets, and then they're back at home versus the Vikings. So that Jets game is definitely a trap game for them.
Yeah, and when you mentioned all those games, the another one that came to mind as a trap game would have been that Steelers game that sandwich between the Ravens and the Chiefs, right? Mm-hmm. You get a good win versus a really good Ravens team, and then you're looking ahead against the Chiefs in that matchup that everybody's going to be talking about, right? Exactly. Who's the best team in the league?
Especially if they're both
Chiefs
undefeated.
or the Bills? And yeah, if they're both undefeated at the time, I mean that will definitely be the talk of the NFL, and that game might even get flexed to a Sunday night game.
I think it's too early to flex games.
Yeah, well, the NFL does what the NFL wants to do. So, I mean, wouldn't you want that as a primetime game?
Oh, 100%.
I mean, I would, but I don't know that that might be a trap game too. The Steelers game, the Jets game that you talked about, but I don't see this team having a letdown because, I mean, right now everything looks so easy.
Yeah.
Everything looks so easy.
Maybe so that could be why they have a letdown is because everything has come so easy. They flexed on the Rams. What they beat them by 10 or 12 points. I can't remember what the week 1 score was.
No, it was like 42-10.
Okay, yeah. Well, and then like last week or yesterday, they won 41-7. So
yeah, it was 31-10 against the Rams.
Just because it's been so easy, that could be their let up versus one of these lesser teams. Like, hey, we dominated the top teams in the NFC and the AFC already, Super Bowl champs, and then the number 1 overall seed in the AFC. We can take the foot off the brake or the gas a little bit. Like, that could be their biggest let up.
Who would have thought that going into week 3, we would be talking about how good of a matchup the Bills versus Miami Dolphins is? Like, the way Tua and Waddle went at it and absolutely just brought back the Dolphins this weekend. I mean, I played against a guy in fantasy team who sat Jalen Waddle, sat Tua, and started Trey Lance. Boy, did he have a bad week.
Yeah, that would really upset me a little bit. But we see our man Alpha Rob in the chat. What's up, Alpha Rob? He says,
what's going on, Alpha?
They said they want to dominate teams. You can say you want to dominate teams all you want, Alpha Rob, but are you going to do it week in and week out? It's a grind. That one extra game is a grind. Like, let's just be honest about it. Let's just be honest.
It is, and it's one of those. It's a grind, but look, I'm telling you, this team looks like they're ready for it. This team looks like they're on a mission. This team looks like they want to erase the 90s stigma that the Bills have had carried with them for so long, right? Like,
let me ask you this question.
This team is on that mission.
Let me ask you this question. Like, I know Alpha Rob is in the chat and he's a huge Buffalo Bills fan. How Buffalo Bills would it be if the Bills made it to 4 straight Super Bowls and lost all 4 again in 2022, 2023, 24, 25? And they just didn't lose them, but they got destroyed in them. Like, I'm talking like 35-7 blowouts.
I don't wish that on anybody, especially our boy Alpha Rob.
Yeah.
I mean, I might wish it on you because you're a Kansas City Chiefs devoted fan who's sitting here wearing Dallas Cowboys gear.
Hey.
I thought Mike LeBlanc was not on the show any longer, but apparently he's back.
Yeah. He's
spirit.
actually right there. What's up, Mike?
Yeah. So I mean, it's one of those where I don't know, man. I don't know what the deal is.
Yeah. So I see Michelle in the chat. What's up, Michelle? Michelle, I'm just going to let you know I'm going to let BC off the hook. He doesn't have to shave, even though he was completely wrong about my Kansas City Chiefs. He doesn't have to shave. However, I got a Honey Badger jersey that he has to wear all weekend at the Cubs game on Friday night. How about that? You have to wear a Kansas City Chiefs jersey to the Chicago Cubs baseball game on Friday night that we're going to. Or you can shave. And like Michelle right there says, "Oh dear God, thank you. I was so upset."
All right. I'll wear the Honey Badger jersey.
Or he can even get. Or if he can get better. Oh, Michelle says, "Oh, hell no, babe. Shave." How about an Aaron Rodgers jersey? Would you wear an Aaron Rodgers jersey to a Cubs game?
No. I'll go get the trimmers right now.
All right, so we were talking about Derrick Henry and how he wasn't over the hill, Combs. So I pulled up his stats for the season so far. And he's been a world beater. Last night, he had 13 attempts for 25 yards, 1.19 average, 1 rushing touchdown. I don't know how he got that, but whatever. So far on the season, he has 34 attempts, 107 yards, 1 touchdown, longest run of 18 yards, just averaging 2.5 yards a carry. How is that not over the hill? I told you guys this. This is the year King Henry goes, pew. You saw the plateau of 2,000 yards, and he got injured, and now he's never coming back. Tell me he's going to get another 2,000 yards, Holmes. Tell me. It's not going to happen, is it? Not going to happen.
I don't think he's going to get another 2,000. I mean, 2,000 yards is a lot to ask of somebody, but he's still the only weapon that they have on that offense because their quarterback is terrible.
What?
Their quarterback
Ryan
is
Tannehill is a
atrocious.
top 10 quarterback in the NFL, Colmsy. Better than your boy Jameis.
Stop it.
He is.
My boy Jameis with 4 broken vertebrae in his back is still better than Ryan Tannehill.
You shut your horse little mouth. They'll have a quarterback off. Speaking of quarterbacks, Trey Lance, Combs. Trey Lance goes down in the first drive of Sunday's game versus the Seattle Seahawks. Jimmy G has officially been named starter for the rest of the season. There's been some people out there trying out for the backup position. They've been poking around, possibly getting some trades. But Combs, this has been a question that has been arose, whatever the question, like how you say it. Way or no way, the San Francisco 49ers are better with Jimmy G.
This is a way. That broken ankle, as much as you hate to see it, and as much as I hope that Trey Lance can rebound from it and get an opportunity to compete again. But this team is better under Jimmy G, and even his teammates. There's been chatter about the teammates saying the same thing, that they got better with Jimmy G in the huddle. And Jimmy G, we've talked about it before. Jimmy G is a winning quarterback when he's healthy and when he has a healthy roster around him. And he's only taken the 49ers, the same 49ers team, to a Super Bowl and an NFC title game in the last 3 years. So he should have been the starter from the beginning. He's the starter now, and they're going to rally around him, and they're going to do good things. And this team is a threat again with Jimmy G under center.
Yeah, sorry, I was on mute. So before the season started, Combs, we sat right here. Me and you both said that the San Francisco 49ers are a championship caliber team with Jimmy G at the helm. He comes in week 2, beats the Seattle Seahawks. He has plenty of time to make this a very valuable season. George Kittle is getting ready to come off the injury. Deebo Samuel's finally got his deal and got his quarterback back, so he is he is happy. So absolutely, the San Francisco 49ers are hands and shoulders above where they were with Trey Lance just last week. I feel with Jimmy G at the helm, and all the rain and the exact game that the Chicago Bears played with Jimmy G, they would have beat the Chicago Bears week 1. Like, there's no question in my mind about it. There would have been no excuses. Oh, it's raining. It's this. It's yada. Get that out of it. Like, get that out of here. Jimmy G is a battle-tested quarterback. He will lead them to the AFC Championship game. Will he win it? To be determined. It depends who they play. If they play the Cowboys, no way, alligator. Like, get that crap out of there. But Jimmy G will lead them to the NFC Championship. If he plays out the rest of the season, Combs, they are a damn good team with Jimmy G in there. Like, there's no question about it. So this is definite way. They're definitely a way more dangerous team. And I believe they play the Rams this week, and the Rams come out and said that they are more scared of the 49ers with Jimmy G at the helm than they were with Trey Lance. And I don't know if that's just blowing smoke, but there's no smoke to be blown. Those are straight facts.
Yeah, no, I mean, we're right on the same page with this. Jimmy G, this team is a real threat in the NFC again. And that NFC West right now is wide open. So I'm excited to see what Jimmy G can do. And at the same time, I'm interested to see how this plays out.
Yeah, so go ahead.
So I want to see what Jimmy G does, but more so I love anarchy, right? So the anarchy lover in me wants to see how this plays out, because once Jimmy G does take them back, what do they do moving into next year?
Oh, that's a great point. Well, Jimmy G's on a 1-year contract, right? So he's a free agent, so he can pretty much go wherever he wants. So Trey Lance this is his second year, so he has at least 2 more years left on his contract. So Jimmy G is the starter moving forward, because I don't think they can afford Jimmy G. Like, after, like, if and when he leads them to another championship game, he's got to be a $25-27 million a year quarterback, right?
Yeah, but do you let that guy just ride into the sunset?
They were going to this year.
Yeah, but if he does it again after being through what he's been through, I mean, there's going to be a lot of talk about needing to pay this guy and needing to trade Trey Lance as opposed to the other way around.
What are you
I
going
mean,
to
you've
get
got
out of
to
Trey
at least
Lance,
think
though?
about it, right?
Well, yeah, I mean, like you have to
You'll
think
get a
about
lot
it.
for Trey Lance. You'll get a lot for Trey Lance. Even if you only get a 3rd-round draft pick for Trey Lance or a 4th-round draft pick for Trey
You
Lance,
traded
you're
up to
still
get the
getting,
guy, though.
Yeah, but
And he's 0-3
you
as a
did.
starter.
But sometimes you got to chalk up your losses and walk away, right? Like sometimes you got to admit you were wrong.
After
And
3
in this
games?
instance, you might have been wrong, right? But you've got a guy in Jimmy G that has shown over and over and over again that he is a winning quarterback in your franchise. He works in your system as much as Kyle Shanahan doesn't want him to work in his system.
Right.
He works in his system, and they win ball games with Jimmy G. And if he does that again, if this plays out, I'm gonna be very interested to see how this all unfolds.
So the real question is Jimmy G a product of the system, or is the product, or is Jimmy G the product, right? Kind of like the Tom Brady versus Bill Belichick thing. It is Kyle Shanahan's offense looks so good and so dominant because of Jimmy G. And I think Jimmy G makes that offense click because we saw it with Trey Lance. They just didn't look very fluid. Yes, it was pouring ash rain, right? Like, I get it. But that week 1, they just weren't very fluid, right? They kind of look like a junior high team, like almost kind of like trying to find their penis.
Yeah, and look, Jimmy G was the product when he left New England, right? Like everybody was like, "Where's Jimmy G going? Who wants Jimmy G? It's Jimmy G sweepstakes." And as soon as San Francisco got Kyle Shanahan, like for whatever reason, them two just don't mix. I don't know if Jimmy G is seeing Kyle Shanahan's wife behind his back or something, but there's something there. There's something going on, and it doesn't make very much sense from a football point of view, right? It doesn't make sense that you got this quarterback that in 3 years is taking you to a Super Bowl and an NFC title game, and you want him so badly out of your organization.
Yeah, to me, it doesn't make sense whatsoever. So a great question was brought up here in the chat by Alpha Rob. He says, maybe Jimmy G isn't the problem. Maybe it's a Kyle Shanahan problem. So is it a Jimmy G problem or a Kyle Shanahan problem? You think it's Kyle Shanahan?
Yeah, I said that before. I said, we were talking about it a couple of weeks ago when we talked about the egos. I said it might be the same thing that we had here in Chicago with Matt Nagy and Mitch Trubisky. Maybe we didn't have a quarterback problem. Maybe we had a coaching problem. And I think it's the same thing up in Dallas. They don't have a quarterback problem. They have a coaching problem. And I think it's the same thing here in San Francisco. This is Kyle Shanahan's worst nightmare. Trey Lance going down and having no choice but to put 100%. Jimmy G in the game. It's his worst nightmare. It's the only way Jimmy G was getting in. We said that last week. Didn't we say that? Yeah. We said the only way Jimmy G sees the field is if Trey Lance gets hurt.
Let's just be clear. We were not wishing ill will on Trey Lance whatsoever, especially a broken ankle.
No.
Yeah.
But that was the only way that Kyle Shanahan was going to go to him. Trey Lance could have been 0-11.
Yeah.
And Jimmy G would have not sniffed the field if he was healthy.
They would have probably went and got Colin Kaepernick before they put Jimmy G in there.
They would have done something, but now he had no choice, and now you're stuck with Jimmy G. And again, if you start winning with Jimmy G, it's going to get really interesting really quick.
Yeah, and speaking of winning, that's something that Chicago Bears did not do over the weekend. And Aaron Rodgers still owns the Chicago Bears over the last 3 or 4 season combs, and I believe Justin Fields now is 0-3 as a starter versus the Green Bay Packers. So you sat here and you said, Justin Fields is our guy. He is the future. He's a franchise quarterback. The heavens have opened and they delivered in the Chicago Bears. Way or no way, Combs, the Chicago Bears missed on Justin Fields.
No way. They might have missed on Luke Getsy. They might have missed. They definitely missed on Matt Nagy. There were so many things, and I've been listening to it all week on Chicago Sports Radio, and it's driving me nuts, right? Like I'm listening to all of these experts talk about how Justin Fields this and Justin Fields that. Maybe he's not the quarterback. Maybe they don't trust him. Maybe this, maybe that, right? So he was 9 for 11 the other night. 11 pass attempts, completed 9 of them. And the 2 incompletions was a drop ball that hit Cole Kmet right in the hands, right in the chest. And the other one was a deep pass that they went to Mooney on. And I want people to go back to that play and watch the route. Because I said this while I was watching it live. It was me and Michelle watching the game downstairs. And I said, boy, he stopped running. He was running his route. And I don't think the play was designed to go to him. Because he starts slowing down, but he beat his defender. And there was no safety behind him. Justin Fields sees this. It's like, oh, I got him. Throws the ball up. And then he looks back to see the play Mooney does as he has this guy beat, but he's slowing down. And it's like, oh, crap, he's throwing me the ball. It has to speed up again. And then the ball looks like it's overthrown. Like, those things right there to me are not Justin Fields' problems. Those are problems of players not finishing routes, players that you trust to catch the ball, not catching the ball. Only the other problem that I had with what they did was how effectively we were running the ball with David Montgomery. You didn't utilize the run pass option, which Justin Fields, it's a huge strength for Justin Fields. You didn't go to the a whole lot of play action, which again would have helped Justin Fields because how effectively you were running the ball. The lack of play calling to put Justin Fields in a successful situation is mind-boggling to me. And I keep hearing people say, we missed again. One of my coworkers he comes to me, he's like, dude, they missed again. I said, no, they didn't. They didn't miss. Justin Fields has everything that we want him to do. We just have to give him the opportunity to do them, right? Like we've put him in a situation where he was with a really bad head coach and a really bad play caller in Matt Nagy. Now he's in his second season, but he's with a whole new system. He's with a whole new play caller, but they're kind of doing the same thing with them. They're kind of holding them back. They're kind of, I don't know if they don't trust the offensive line in the pass blocking because that seems to be an issue here and there. Justin Fields does have to scramble a lot. But that's why you utilize your strengths. Your strengths are in the run game. So call more play action passes. Call more RPOs. Do the things that will put Justin Fields in a position to be successful, and you're going to win more games. Or you do what you did the other night, and you get down to the goal line, which, it doesn't really matter at the end of the game, but that was a touchdown on the goal line. But why are you in shotgun formation? Why? Like if you want to get cute, if you want to be the smart guy in the room, right? You want to try to some foolery. You want to give them the element of surprise. That's when you run a play action pass from under center. And then the element of surprise will be there because you got there on 9 straight plays of running the damn ball down their throat. And then you lined up in shotgun formation on 4th and inches from the goal line. Terrible play calling. They did not miss on Justin Fields. Justin Fields is doing everything he can to win football games. But they're not putting the team in a situation to win football games. That's the problem. It's not, again, not a Justin Fields problem, but a coaching problem.
I say here, I soak up everything that you said, and I look at the poll over here on youtube.com/SpenHour that we had going. The simple question is Justin Fields a bust? 62% of the people said yes. And I'm kind of on the boat of the yes right now, Combs, not because of Justin Fields is a bad player. Do not get it twisted. Why did we think Trevor Lawrence was going to be a bust in the NFL? Because Urban Meyer was his coach. That's why I thought Trevor Lawrence was going to be a buzz in the NFL. He's looking a lot better now that he has a new offense and a coordinator and people are healthy, and he looks a lot better. He looks a lot more improved. But when we go to the Chicago Bears, this is the issue with Justin Fields and the Chicago Bears right now. You have a rookie head coach, Combs, that has never coach. I mean, he's been a coach for like 30 plus years, right? Like I get it. He was a linebacker coach in college, and he was like an offensive coordinator for the Colts, right? And this and this. Like I get it. Like he has the credentials. He has been a coach in the NFL for a very, very, very long time. But as a NFL coach, as a head coach, it's a whole new ball game. Now you got to worry about special teams. You got to worry micromanaging this, and this. Are the balls inflated right? Tom Brady, you have to worry about so much other crap that you didn't have to worry about before. And then you have to take your second-year quarterback and place him under your wing as well. So there is so much growth that has to happen in Chicago right here, right now. And that first week gave you guys that false hope. Like, man, maybe we are going to be a 9-win team. Maybe we are going to make the playoffs. Maybe this, and this, right? But then you come back to play the Green Bay Packers. You come crash it back down to reality. And the point of the matter is Justin Fields will not be a bust if the offense can figure itself out. If it can get out of his own way. That's the biggest hurdle. Now, if the offensive play caller, is it Eberflus that calls the plays, or who calls the plays?
It's Luke Getsy.
Okay, well, if Luke Getsy doesn't figure out how to appeal to the strengths of his team, Justin Fields will be deemed a bust and probably out by next year.
The Bears in 2 weeks have attempted 28 passes.
Right.
2 weeks. There is not another team in the league, not one, that has less than 28 completions.
Well,
28 completions, not just pass attempts,
yeah.
Completions. And the Bears have only attempted that many pass attempts in 2 weeks.
So I actually just Googled this. Justin Fields has 191 yards total in 2 games, right? Mm-hmm. There are 12 other quarterbacks that have over 191 yards in the first half of a football game.
Yeah.
So just take that into perspective. So, are the strengths to Justin Fields being utilized right now? Absolutely not. He has great mobility. He has pretty good arm strength. He has a pretty good IQ. What was the knock of him in Ohio State? He can't read the plays, yada, yada, yada.
Yeah, sometimes he holds onto the ball too long, too. That's another thing, too. But, you've got to get him in position to do those things. And like I said, the way they were running the ball against Green Bay, was just they were hammering the ball. So, whenever you got into a passing down, what you did was put them in shotgun and hung them out to dry.
Right.
You didn't try to utilize the fact that you're running the ball so well, and then when it's 2nd and 4, you're trying to pass from the shotgun formation, and he's taking a sack, or you're jumping off sides because your offensive line is trying to cheat because they know they're not that great in pass defense, and they're trying to beat the guys off the ball. You've got to slow the game down for your team, for your young quarterback. That is your job as a coaching staff. And they have not put him in that situation. So all the talk about Justin Fields is not the guy, or Justin Fields is a bust, or they missed again. That's people not paying attention. It's people not watching.
Right.
Go back, watch each pass attempt. Go back, watch the guys run the route. More importantly, go back and watch the plays that were incompletions. And watch and see what happened on each one of those incompletions.
Yeah, to see if they were drops or overthrows or just bad passes, or just go to Pro Football Reference and they'll give you those stats. 28% of his passes were bad or off the target. This was drops, yada yada yada. So, with that being said, Combs, the biggest obstacle of any young quarterback is being in obvious passing situations. So when you come to a veteran defense like the Green Bay Packers are, they've been there, they've done that. They have one of the best cornerbacks in the league. They got a pretty good front seven. When you are in obvious passing situations, that does not help your quarterback play whatsoever. So when it is 2nd and 4, you definitely need to run some RPOs, or better just run the ball. He threw the ball 11 times. I think it was right, Combs. He was 8 for 11 or 9 for 11.
He was 7 for 11.
Yeah.
7 for 11. I misspoke earlier.
Definitely. 11 passes is not very much, so whatever. Like,
No,
I feel like we're
and
getting
then
Mac
you look
Jones
at
treatment.
his rating goes down to a 43% or 43.6 or whatever the hell it is, because you're not doing anything with him. And when you do throw the ball, you're throwing these short little out routes.
Mhm.
And then when he finally does have a guy downfield and he sees that he's got the guy beat, the receiver slows down in his route because he's not expecting the ball.
Right.
Finish your route, Darnell Mooney. Finish your damn route. Run it all the way through. That would have been a touchdown the entire way. That was a play right there that turned the game.
Yeah, it's definitely a big momentum shift. It shifted the sidelines on that game 100%. So Alpha Rob says, I will not deemed if he is a boom or a bust until he gets a number one wide receiver. He has two number one receivers on his team right now.
Ooh.
St. Brown and Darnell Mooney.
Stop. Darnell Mooney is a number 3 on any other wide receiving core in this league.
Okay.
Darnell Mooney is not the number 1 wide receiver, and neither is St. Brown. St. Brown is one of those guys who couldn't even sniff the field in Green Bay. I still like the fact that he's got speed. He still is a guy that can play to Justin's strengths. So is Darnell Mooney. They do not have a number 1 guy that they can count on and get that ball to every single time down the field. They don't have that. They just don't. I mean, you can say it all you want.
They do have it. They just
a
need to
number 1
utilize
wide
it.
receiver. No. They've got the number 1 wide receiver on their squad. But they don't have a number 1 wide receiver in this league.
Byron Pringle will be a number 1 receiver on any other team.
No, he won't.
Yes, he will.
No, he won't.
Give him you were hyping Byron Pringle up signing all offseason, and now you're like,
I like the Byron Pringle signing.
Like,
I
come
do,
on,
but only because he plays to Justin's strengths. But just because you play to your strengths, look, freaking other than what's his face there, Randy Moss. Tom Brady never had a real number 1 receiver either. He had number 1 receivers inside of his system, but they weren't number 1 receivers in the league. They go to any other team, they're a 2 or a 3.
So what you're saying is Justin Fields cannot make his quarterbacks better.
One wide receiver who went to any other team, not one wide receiver in the New England Patriots history other than Randy Moss, went to another team after they left the Patriots and was the number 1 wide receiver on their team.
Wes
not
Welker.
One.
Wes Welker.
Wes Welker was not the number 1 wide receiver in Miami when he left.
How about the dude that went to the Broncos? He was
Vontae Parker was the number 1 wide receiver when Wes Welker went there.
Who was the other short white guy? Not Wes Welker, but
you're talking about Julian Edelman.
Yeah, Edelman.
Julian Edelman was not the number 1 wide receiver when he left.
Yes, he was.
Troy Brown, they tried to make him a number 1 wide receiver in Seattle when he left New England, and 2 years later he ended up back in New England because Seattle cut him.
So basically, so let me find the words to explain this correctly. Basically, you are contradicting everything that you said about him not being a bust because he is not making his receivers better out there. As a good quarterback, you have to make your receivers better.
He's not in the position to make them better either, though. You can't get better on 11 pass attempts in a game.
Right.
You can't get better when you're attempting as many pass attempts as the rest of the league has completions. You can't do that.
I get that.
They're not utilizing him in the right spots, right? They're not putting, again, more RPOs, more play action passes. That is what is going to make him successful. And when you're not doing that, you're going to continue to be this because you don't have the offensive line that will allow him to sit back there for 5 or 6 seconds to allow any of these receivers to get open because these receivers are not number 1 receivers. They're not the wideouts that are going to get, are going to break free. You have to capitalize on the attempts that you have. And you have to draw the safeties in. You have to draw people in. You have to make them blitz more because you're running the ball effectively. And once that starts happening and you utilize the RPO or you utilize the play action, you're going to get your receivers open more. Your quarterback is going to be more successful.
So a good quarterback, Combs, not a great, but a good quarterback, a non-bust of a quarterback, when it's 2nd and 4, and they're calling a pass down the field, and the running game has been dominating, he will check the play. He will audible. He will audible the play into a running play. Why isn't Justin Fields doing that? Why isn't Justin Fields getting underneath the center and say, hey, I want to run a quick slant. I want to do this, this, and this. Why? Because for one, he doesn't have faith in himself. Two, the offensive coordinator is putting handcuffs on him, and it's a double-edged sword like at this point, and you are in a lose-lose situation if you're Justin Fields.
I agree.
So we do have some Lions fans popping up. We have One Pride 40 in there. And Dr. Detroit, what's up, fellas? What's up? What's up? What's up? And he says, where's it at? Julian Edelman was the first receiver, dude. Was the number one receiver.
Where was Julian Edelman the first receiver?
He went to the Denver Broncos with freaking Peyton Manning, right?
The same Denver Broncos that had Demaryius Thomas?
Yeah, the same Denver Broncos.
You're telling me Julian Edelman was number one over Demaryius? Julian Edelman was not the number one wide receiver in Denver. He wasn't.
I'm pretty sure he was.
Dude, I'm telling you right now, Julian Edelman was not the number one receiver in Denver.
So
you fight me on it all you want.
I'm not going to
But
fight
he
about
might have had the most catches. He might have had, maybe he had more targets because he was such a good slot receiver for them.
Yeah. So,
but he was not the number one receiver.
What determines the number one receiver? Just because you line up on the outside and you're listed first on the depth chart, that makes you the number one receiver?
That wouldn't make you the number one wide receiver.
Okay,
Julian. I don't know. I mean, people talk about Julian Edelman all you want. I mean, the guy, I don't know.
Yeah.
When did he play in Denver, by the way?
I think it was their Super Bowl year. So 2008, 9.
I don't think that was Edelman. I think you're talking about Welker.
Was it Welker? I don't remember.
I thought Edelman played his whole career in New England.
Maybe. It could have been. Yeah, I'm not for sure. Like, it's all kind of mashed together, to be honest. Speaking of being mashed together, that's exactly what happened to the Minnesota Vikings last night, Combs. They got mashed together. They got basically tore up and beat down by the Philadelphia Eagles, and there's another Super Bowl containing team, possibly. But Kirk Cousins now is officially the worst quarterback on record in primetime games. He has the worst NFL record during primetime games. The Minnesota Vikings now are 1-1 on the season, Combs. They have a win over Green Bay Packers and loss versus the Philadelphia Eagles. Way or no way, the Minnesota Vikings are a quarterback away from making the Super Bowl.
The reason why I'm going to go way on this is because Kirk Cousins can't perform in prime time. And in order to go to the Super Bowl, you have to be able to perform prime time. And he just can't. I mean, and he proved it again last night. I mean, look, the Philadelphia Eagles are a good football team. They're surprising me. I wasn't a big believer in Jalen Hurts. I wasn't a big believer in the Philadelphia Eagles coming into the season, but I am now. The way that they handled the Minnesota Vikings last night was really, really impressive. But the Vikings and Kirk Cousins, I mean, you've got to have that. You can't have that guy who goes into a Monday night game and is going to throw 3 interceptions. You can't have that guy who's going to go in a primetime game and have that 1 touchdown, 3 interception, 4 interception type game. And that's what he has every time they play in primetime games. Like, he just, for whatever reason, he's a top 10 quarterback. Other than that, other than prime time, he's a top 10 quarterback, but he can't play in pressure situations. I don't know why, but he just can't do it. So I'm going to say this is definitely a way they can't win in the playoffs because he can't win under pressure.
Yeah, so I misspoke there. So Kirk Cousins has the worst Monday night record as a starting quarterback. He is 2-10 now as a Monday night starting quarterback, which is crazy to me, because when you think of primetime players, you think of players that thrive on the Monday night lights. You have players that thrive on Thursday night lights. And you are exactly right. Kirk Cousins seems to fold under the pressure. And I don't know if it's the pressure or if it's like the anticipation of the game where he like wears himself out. Like, I don't know what it is. But you are exactly right. I would consider playoff games, primetime games, right? Because you are the only game on the docket like at that time. So you are, all eyes are on you. But when we look at it, is Kirk Cousins a product of the system? No. Kirk Cousins was doing this in Washington. He was doing it, under the franchise tag for 3 years, right? He was doing his thing. He does have 2 playoff wins as a Minnesota Vikings over the Saints, and then is it over your Chicago Bears? The double doink, was that the Chicago Bears? The Vikings that they lost to? I can't remember.
No, it was the Eagles.
The Eagles,
doink.
right? Yeah, that was a Super Bowl year.
Super Bowl year.
So
yeah.
So I'm going to waffle my way
Thanks
around
for bringing
this.
that up, by the way.
Yeah, you're welcome. There's actually a video clip where a college kicker double doinked it 4 times. So don't, and it missed it. I'll have to send you that video. And it has it had a Chicago Bears logo on it. It was really, really hilarious. But
oh god,
I've been waffling around the answer, and I have to agree with you. Like, the Minnesota Vikings are a quarterback away. Their defense is pretty damn good. The offense is great, right? They have Dalvin Cook. They have JJ. They have Thielen. They have that other receiver. I can't think of his name right now. They are a really, really good team, if not great team, arguably the best team in the NFC North, hands down. They will win the NFC North probably hands down. But they are a wild card exit. They are a first-round exit with Kirk Cousins at the helm. And there's a quarterback that's going to be out there next year, Combs, that could fit well in purple and gold. Do you know where I'm going with this one?
I say Jimmy G.
Yeah, Jimmy G is the answer, right? Jimmy G goes and wins everywhere he can. Why not?
I don't look. Again, I like Kirk Cousins. Like, I really think Kirk Cousins is an underrated quarterback.
Give me great fantasy points.
He gets a lot of flack because of games like this, though. You know what I mean? Like, it's this prime. That's when everybody sees you.
Right.
Is in primetime games, and when you play in primetime games, you're terrible. But other than that, this guy's a top 10 quarterback in the league. He puts up top 10 numbers every single year.
Well, last year he had better numbers than Aaron Rodgers, right?
Yeah, it's something like that. It was like, if go look at the numbers, go look at his stats, and actually read his stats. Compare him to whoever you want to compare him to, and they're going to be right there.
Right.
Like, he is a stud, but when everybody sees him, because let's just face it, nobody watches Minnesota outside of Minnesota, just like nobody watches Detroit out of Detroit. I see you, Dr. Detroit, in the chat. That is not a team that gets very much play outside of their local market. So when you do see them on prime time, and when you are like this on prime time, you're going to get a different rap than what the truth might actually be. And I think that's the way it is for Kirk Cousins. But at this point, you can't really blame anybody for it, because that's what you do. You disappear in big games. And that's why they're never going to win a Super Bowl with Kirk Cousins at quarterback.
So One Pride 40 is in the chat and tell me that Jimmy G and Kirk Cousins are the same quarterback. Are they the same quarterback, Combs? Absolutely not, right?
No, Jimmy G's gone to a Super Bowl, an NFC title game in the last 3 years. I mean, Jimmy G performs. Jimmy G.
Yeah. He says,
Jimmy
put
G
that pressure
is
on my
a
back
guy,
and I'm going to thrive, right? Kirk Cousins is like, let me crumble.
There are times where you feel like Jimmy G will throw that timely interception, in the fourth quarter in a crucial moment. He has gotten that rap, but the guy wins. I mean, and that's one thing that Kirk Cousins doesn't have on his resume is the wins.
So he says talent-wise, they are the same. You might be right.
Yeah.
They might have the same arm strength. They might have the same mobility, but it's all in the head, right? Jimmy G has a better head game than Kirk Cousins. Like, when you're 2-10 on Monday Night Football, that carries with you into the playoffs. Like,
I agree. They are the same talent-wise, but there is a different. They're not the same leader-wise.
Right.
You know what I mean? They've got different leadership skills, and that's where they're different. and Jimmy G is a guy that will take you there, and Kirk Cousins isn't.
Yeah, I mean, like when we speak of like this player is better than this player, it's more than just talent in the end. It is head game. It is how you prepare. And Jimmy G prepares and has better mind than Kirk Cousins in the end. And Combs, you taking an L against the Lions? Are you?
You know what? At this point, it just depends on what week we're talking about, because
when do you guys play?
I really don't I don't right now as a Bears fan, and this is just me being, and we just talked about this, right? Like, I don't have faith that the coaching staff is going to put them in that position to be successful right now. Like, again, Justin Fields has that factor. Justin Fields is it. Justin Fields is a franchise quarterback. Now, I don't know if he's the Bears franchise quarterback, but he is a franchise quarterback, and they're not utilizing him in the same way. So I think the defense will keep them in a game, especially against the Detroit Lions. I mean, let's just face it. You got Jared Goff as your quarterback.
Yeah, St. Brown, baby. 9 touchdowns, nine games in a row with a touchdown. I can't believe I just traded that dude, too. Get out. Jesus. Sorry.
It's the Detroit Lions, Buck. I mean, we know what we're talking about here. We're talking about 4 or 5 wins, another disappointing season,
really?
And trying to find another quarterback.
Really?
They're the Lions, Buck. They don't look the Lion. Look at the Lions trophy case.
Yes.
They don't really have one. They're kind of like Minnesota.
Look at that 6.7 QBR that Justin Fields had.
Yeah, you're right. He did. It was like a 6.7, and it was terrible. It's embarrassing. Look, I will tell you the truth about my Chicago teams, right? Like, I will tell you the truth, but I'm gonna tell you the truth about your team too. They're the Lions, and they just find it. Look, Jared Goff is not that guy. Jared Goff does not scare me.
He shouldn't scare you.
DeAndre Swift might run for 3,000 yards in that game. But Jared Goff does not scare me. The Lions defense does not scare me.
Dan Campbell should scare you. That alone.
Dan Campbell it is the type of guy that if I hide around the corner when he's coming around the tunnel and I jump out and yell boo, he's gonna cry.
Oh.
Dan Campbell cries more than your 2-year-old does when he takes your mouse out of your computer.
Hey.
Like you're
keep talking.
That is
keep
not
talking.
That is not Dan Campbell does not scare me. The Lions, they're not that team. Look, if I'm scared of any team in this division, for one, it's the Packers who own us, and 2, it's the Vikings. This is still the Vikings division to win. But the Bears, they're just not that. Like, I don't know what's coming week in or week out. Like, I expect a good showing against the Houston Texans this week, but it wouldn't shock me if we lose.
You know what you're going to get from week in and week out from the Detroit Lions? 30-plus points, baby.
Disappointment.
30-plus points. Your Chicago Bears can't score over 14.
They've got to learn how to stop their opponent from scoring 40-plus.
That's easy. Just let Justin Fields throw the ball. Oh, that's not Lamar Jackson, though.
Okay.
Is it? So, speaking of disappointment, I
see you play into the crowd.
There were loads of disappointment over the weekends during these crowds. There was reportedly a beer bottle thrown at Browns owner on Sunday, and then when the Cardinals come back and beat the Las Vegas Raiders in overtime, I believe it was, Kyler Murray was punched in the heads by a Raiders fan. So, Combs, way or no way, the Raiders fan should be criminally charged for punching Kyler Murray in the head after the game.
No. I mean, look, Kyler Murray should be talked to by his coaching staff. Hey, let's not go up to the stands after the game, especially in an opposing stadium, talking trash, because you back up the video and don't just watch when Kyler Murray gets punched. Watch when all of the other Cardinals fans are running around the Raiders home stadium, slapping high fives with Cardinal fans, but also flipping off Raider fans. You know what I mean?
Yep.
So it's kind of an incensed situation. Now, do I condone him punching him in the face? I mean, no. Look, there's a lot of quarterback. Like, let me get close enough to Aaron Rodgers, see what I do. So
Make out with him,
I
probably.
get where he was coming from. No, I'd fucking knock his long hair out. But I don't condone the action, but I also don't know about criminal charges. I mean, if you watch it, it really wasn't even a punch. It was more of like a wraparound kind of
pat on the head.
It was like a half slap. Like, it wasn't even that big of a deal. I think Kyler Murray's kind of a bitch for even whining about it. But
did he whine about it? I gotta even hear that.
Yeah, he whined. That's how the whole thing started. Nobody even knew that it happened until he, complained about it and blah blah blah. Now there's an investigation going on. I mean, would I shed a tear if the Raiders announced they caught the guy and they've banned him for life from the stadium? Which I don't even know how you do that. I mean, like, how do you ban? You know what I mean? Like,
yeah, right.
How do you know whether or not I come into the stadium again? You got my picture on display
you have to
with
buy
everybody,
the tickets underneath your name, and they transfer them in. Like,
you don't have to buy them in your name. Like, I could say, hey, Buck, here's $200. Buy me a ticket for next week's game.
Well, but like everything's on your phone now, so like all the Ticketmaster stuff is like I went to the Packers game, the Packers-Lions game on Monday night last year. And we had to download the Packer app like on my phone and transfer the tickets.
I get tickets off of StubHub all the time, but they're not in my name.
Oh, maybe, I don't know.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, even you know what I mean. So I don't know. Even though, like, I always think that that's a bunch of crap anyway, because I don't think you could ever really ban somebody from a stadium. I mean, if I really want to get in there, I'm gonna get in there, even if it means I have to like wear a disguise or something. You know what I mean? Paint my face for the game and. Just all like, how are you supposed to know whether or not I'm banned or not? Like,
yeah, I definitely get it. But on the flip side of the thing, I've been watching TikTok a lot, and I see a lot of lawyers on there. Is this guy wrong? Is it a crime? Yada yada yada. And I feel like Kyler Murray is kind of in the wrong here. He went up there and he kind of, I don't know what he said. I kind of saw the very end of it. He was hugging the Cardinals guy and a hand came over and smacked him in the head. But I feel like Kyler Murray was kind of definitely in the wrong because he was, antagonizing it. Like, he walked up to them and said, "Hey, what's up now?" Right? Or whatever he said. Right? I'm sure it was some F you and F and this and right, but. Like, he was definitely wrong. I mean, there's no self-defense, so I'm not for sure if it can be criminally charged by anything, but it could be like a basic battery or something. I don't know. I mean, like, it has to be something stupid, like just like that. But the only way this sheds light is if it was a black guy. No, it is a black guy and a white guy, isn't it? So yeah, is that messed up?
I mean, Murray's got to be this tall to complain.
Right.
It's. But look, let's go back into the chat here because I see One Pride coming at me. We have the number 1 ranked offense. You got the number 4 ranked offense. You got the number 1 ranked offense in division. You also have the number 30th ranked defense.
So, offense wins championships now. Combs, screw defense.
Oh God. Yeah. Look, I mean, I don't even. Who have the Lions even played so far that they've scored these points on? I mean,
Eagles.
It was a good win.
And
it was a good win.
The Eagles, a Super Bowl team, a Super Bowl caliber team versus the Philadelphia Eagles, that scored 35 points, 38-35.
Weren't they up 22-0 on the Commanders, and then won by like a touchdown or something like that? Right.
Win's a win, baby. Just win, baby, win. Al Davis all day long.
Yeah. Well, you got to stop the other team from. So look, they might. I'm not going to go out there and say, look, the Bears are definitely going to win. I wouldn't pick the Bears, 1 week from the other. Like, I'm not. They're one of those teams. Like, look, I'm always going to pick them. Just like One Pride, you're always going to pick, the Bears to beat the Lions.
No, he's a realist.
I'm sorry, you're always going to pick the Lions to beat the Bears. You're always going to pick the Lions to beat the Packers. The Lions to beat the Vikings. I'm never going to pick the Packers. in a game against the Bears. It's just I'm never going to do it because I'm a Bears fan. I don't want to see the Packers win. I want to see the stadium implode. I want to see all of Lambeau go underground.
Right.
Like that's what I want to see. But
Jeez.
realistically speaking, 1 week from the next, look, there is not one team. They might lose this week to the Texans. Like
The Lions losing the Texans.
That's just realistic. I mean, so yeah, could the Lions put up 40 plus like you're talking about against the Bears? Sure, it wouldn't shock me, but it wouldn't shock me to see the Bears put up 47 and beat them 47-40. You guys can't stop a cold.
If you guys are watching, like if you have MLB TV, what is it? September 30th, Combs and me and the boys will be at Wrigley Field. Combs will be wearing an Aaron Rodgers jersey, so be sure to
I will not be wearing an Aaron Rodgers jersey. I will shave my balls on this program on camera before I put on an Aaron Rodgers jersey.
Dude, your offense is horrible.
Look, I agree with you. The offense is horrible, but your defense is just good enough to have that get right game against. That's all you need is a get right game, and
Your
that
defense
Detroit
is
Lions
just
game
good
might be
enough.
that get right game.
You mean just bad enough or just good enough?
Well, either way, however you want to look at it, just good enough to have that get right game against. I mean, you be good enough to give us 47 points. I mean, that'd be good for me.
You realistically think throwing the ball 11 times in a game gets you 47 points?
No, that's what I'm saying. Like things have to evolve. I mean, when the Bears don't even play the Lions till like week 9, right?
Yeah, it's second week of November. Yeah.
Yeah, by then we'll know, what the Bears are. So if you talk to me again the week before the week of the Lions game, then I'll give you an honest answer. If I don't think the Bears are going to beat the Lions, I'm going to tell you, look, they're not going to beat the Lions. This past weekend, I picked the Bears to beat the Packers because I really thought the Bears had a legitimate shot, and they still were a bad non-call of a touchdown away from making this a one-score game. Like, dude, first of all, look,
the refs
I don't think
cost
it changed
us
the
the
outcome
game.
of the game. No. I don't think that changes the outcome of the game at all. I still think the Packers will win that game, but that was a touchdown, right, Buck? I mean, you've looked at the replay. Don't tell me it wasn't a touchdown. I mean,
was it called a touchdown?
Unless he was holding the ball between his legs, the rest of his head and everything else was about above him, and he's holding the ball like this. It was a touchdown. He was over the goal line. Should have been a touchdown call. But it wasn't. It didn't change the outcome of the game at all. It wasn't the refs that cost us the game.
It could have changed the momentum.
It shouldn't have been in shotgun. It shouldn't have even been in close anyway.
Right. I mean, it definitely a momentum shift in that point of the game. But One Pride 40 says the Lions will be beating the Vikings this weekend, and we'll be doing our picks Thursday, Combs. So that'd be definitely a game to circle. That's a game must watch TV.
Justin Jefferson is going to have 700 yards receiving. Dalvin Cook is going to have 400 yards rushing on your defense. The Lions are going to destroy. Or I'm sorry, the Vikings are going to destroy the Lions.
This is the same Vikings team that lost to the Eagles last night, right?
The Eagles are a top 5 team in the league, Buck.
Are they?
Come on, Buck.
Are they? Let's get into those power rankings. So, guys, every Tuesday, Beasty busts out his power rankings, and let's start off at number 10 right off the bat. The San Francisco 49ers. Let's go ahead and load up that 9mm. Shoot those shots. Pop, pop, pop. Shots fired. Why do you got San Francisco at number 10?
Because Jimmy G is their quarterback again.
That's a great point.
They're 1-1. They're 1-1. Jimmy G is their quarterback again, and I believe that they are a top 4 team in the league now, or in the NFC now, with Jimmy G as their quarterback.
Yeah, and then at number 9, you got the New York Giants, 2-0 New York Giants. Very surprising, 2-0. Are you banking on them going to the playoffs now, Combs? Like, do you got them as a playoff team?
The New York Giants, I don't expect it to last much longer than this Monday night. But they're playing well, and you can't really deny what they are at this point, which is a 2-0 team.
Yep.
And I don't. I mean, it's hard to make an argument for any of the 1-1 teams to be ahead of them, right? You know what I mean? Like, I do have a couple of one-on-one teams ahead of them, but it's just the ones that aren't ahead of them. It's really tough to try to that's what people keep saying. Well, how could you have this team here? And how could you have, all right, well, tell me who you want ahead of them.
Exactly.
Like, who would you have ahead of the New York Giants right now?
Yeah, I mean, if you look at their stats and actually watch their games, they're playing really good football right now. Saquon Barkley looks like a man out there. He has 236 yards on the season, and Daniel Jones has 364 yards on the season. In those two, I mean, with a 70% completion rate, I mean, they're doing good things over there in New York. Coming in at number 8, comeback kings themselves, the Miami Dolphins. Okay, that's not bad.
Yeah, look, the Dolphins. Yeah, I was not a believer in Tua. I'm still not a believer in Tua. The way they played, I mean, Jalen Waddle did some things in that game. I mean, Jalen Waddle was ridiculous.
Yep.
Tua threw for 6 touchdowns, and so you got to give it to them. They hung in there against a very good Ravens team, and they went in there and they did their thing. And so you got to give them love. I mean, again, they're 2-0. They're right there with the Buffalo Bills right now. It's going to be a very good Week 3 matchup with the Buffalo Bills, and they, depending on how they show up, they could either move up or they could even move out. I mean,
Right.
If Buffalo goes in there and puts up, beats them 41-7 and keeps doing what they've been doing to all their other opponents, I mean, you might be able to count them out of the top 10.
Yeah, speaking of losing to 41-7, the Minnesota Vikings took that L last night, but still coming in at number 7.
Yeah, look, I dropped them. I had them at 5 last week. I dropped them down to number 7, but look, I have you'll see the Philadelphia Eagles up there again later on in the rankings, and I take a lot of stock into who you lose to, right? And who you lost to was a team that right now looks like they are going to compete for the NFC title. And
AFC
that's what
title.
the Eagles are. It's surprising me because I don't see the Eagles being that team, but the Eagles can absolutely win the NFC title.
Yeah, so just outside the top 5, a team that won the Super Bowl last year and is kind of taking their lumps right now, squeaked past the Falcons. Los Angeles Rams coming at number 6.
Yeah, I like the Rams. I think at some point they're going to get right. I know that one Pride 40's boy there who had to get out of Detroit so he could finally win a Super Bowl is playing with a bad elbow. They play in a really tough division, but it's hard to knock them out of the number 10. It's really hard for me to say, hey, the Vikings, Dolphins, Giants, and Niners are still better than the Rams. They're just so talented. They're that good. And they could explode at any time. I mean, they could have a coming out party against the Cardinals this weekend for all we know. So I still have the Rams at number 6.
Yeah, they could explode or implode. So just to recap the bottom portion of the top 10 here, we got the 49ers coming in at 10, Giants at number 9, Dolphins at 8, the Vikings at number 7, the Rams coming in at number 6, and then the Philadelphia Eagles coming in at 5. Super Bowl contending, Super Bowl team looking Philadelphia Eagles. Yeah. Man, they look good last night.
They did look good against a Vikings team who I thought looked like in week 1 they might have been the best team in the NFC. So it was impressive what the Eagles did, and that's why for me the Eagles jumped up to 5, jumped up ahead of the Minnesota Vikings. Obviously, you can't beat a team and stay in front of them, to me, the Eagles, they impressed me, and they're better than I thought that they were. I know a lot of people were picking them, but look, I mean, a lot of people pick a lot of things. Buck picked the Lions to win the division the last 3 years and was dead wrong about all 3 of them. So
2.
Yeah, but that's what I'm saying. I mean, people pick stuff all the time. I mean, so I mean, it's crazy to me.
Right.
How often people, teams are wrong, and I thought everybody was wrong about the Eagles, but I was incorrect about the Eagles so far.
Yeah, this
so
is
far,
the
I was
same
incorrect about the
Eagles team that the Lions only lost by 3 points, and then they beat the Commanders, in which they play the Vikings. So
they did a good job of building around Jalen Hurts in the offseason. And that's, to me, I look at the Eagles kind of like what the Bears are going to need to do this offseason, right? They've got to make a choice. You either build around him and get him the help that he needs, or you don't. But the Eagles went out there, they made a decision. All right, you know what? We think we got something here. Let's go out, let's build around him. And if he can come out and ball out with the cast that we're giving him, he's our guy. If not, then we know we need to move on. And that's what the Eagles did, and it's paying off for them so far through 2 weeks.
Yeah, and the addition of AJ Brown has definitely been huge for them.
Don't be surprised if they become what the Cardinals were last year, a team that starts out really, really hot and then just falls off and gets knocked out early in the playoffs.
All right, you're calling it here. Eagles first round exit. Coming in at number 4, Tampa Bay Buccaneers.
Yeah, look, I mean 2-0. I know they barely beat the Saints, but Jameis Winston playing with 4 broken vertebrae in his back, New Orleans Saints. But it's still Tom Brady, and it's still the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, and the signing of Cole Beasley to me is throwing that up there even more, because I really like that signing. He is going to be that Julian Edelman, Wes Welker type for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. And Tom Brady knows exactly what to do with a small white wide receiver, as he's shown throughout his career.
Right.
So I really like Tampa Bay. I really like Tom Brady. And so, yeah, that's why the Buccaneers are up there for me.
Yeah, this is kind of concerning for me if you're a Tom Brady and Tampa Bay Buccaneers fan in general. It has been announced that he will not be at the facility every Wednesdays from moving forward as, quote, veteran rest. So he won't have much time to prepare throughout the weeks anymore. I mean, you're still a young team.
It's Tom Brady. First of all, like, this guy, I saw a meme earlier. I think I sent it to you earlier. And it said, this guy beats you without having any left tackles, without having any offensive guards, without having a wife, without having kids, and without having anything around him. And he's 45. He's 45 years old. Yeah. So, yes, give him Wednesdays off. Give him Thursdays off. Give him freaking Fridays off, too. All the guy needs to do is show up on Sunday and play ball.
Yeah, until they go 0-6 the next 6 games. Coming at number 3, okay. This is where it kind of gets dicey for me. You have the Los Angeles Chargers coming in at number 3.
I do. Look, the Chargers lost to the Kansas City Chiefs on last Thursday night.
Great game, by the way.
It was a great game. Justin Herbert, I was already here with Justin Herbert.
Yeah.
But after he hurt his back and the way he played in those final minutes of the game, I'm here with Justin Herbert. Like, this dude is a baller. This dude is a leader, and he is going to do great things with this Chargers team. I think that this Chargers team is going to be there for the long haul. There's a reason why the top 3 teams in my rankings are AFC teams, because the AFC is loaded, and I mean loaded with talent. And I think that the Chargers right now are the cream of the crop. I know they lost, but they lost to another team that I have in the top 3. So I take a lot of stock into the fact that you lost to them, and it was a tight game, and your quarterback was playing with whatever the hell didn't he fracture or ligaments in his back?
It's his ribs that are messed up, yeah.
Or his ribs, yeah. I mean, dude, he was running for the first down, stops a yard short when he had it all clear. He could have slid and had the first down. Barely could throw the ball out of bounds, and then in the very next play, guts it out and throws a dart down the field to get them in the 1st and goal situation. The guy is unreal. So for me, the Chargers are in at number 3.
Yeah, and then coming at number 2. Well, and also just to add to your point there, they were playing in the toughest stadium to play in the NFL at Arrowhead.
Yeah,
Stadium,
and who's better than them? Who would you put ahead of the Chargers right now?
Well,
you know what I mean? For anybody who's got a problem with that.
Your top 2 teams, and that's the Kansas City Chiefs coming in at number 2 and the Buffalo Bills at number 1. I mean, the Chargers are a very good team. I agree with you there.
I was I was not a believer in the Chiefs. You know that. I thought they were going to have a down year. I said this was really going to be a year where you have to see Mahomes do things that you haven't seen him do yet. And we're seeing that so far. Mahomes is that dude, and he's playing like that dude. It's a tough schedule. It's a really tough schedule. So we'll see where they're at, in a few weeks. But right now, they look just as good as the Buffalo Bills do. I mean, they really do. Yeah. They look just as tough, just as dominant. They're playing against really tough opponents, and they beat them both. So the Chiefs, I don't think there's a question. I don't really think there's a question in my entire power rankings, but especially in the top 3, and damn sure not the top 2. I mean, you can't even question it right now.
Yeah, I actually do agree with your top 6, maybe even top 7. The bottom 3, the Miami Dolphins, I think they need to show me one more week, that they are the real deal. They're
going to have to this week.
Yeah, I mean, like the Giants, yes, they are 2-0. They are playing great football, but just like you said, it probably won't last. And then the San Francisco 49ers, I am curious to see if they go back to their old ways with Jimmy G, or if Kyle Shanahan is going to, torture the ship, like light a match on the end of it and just watch the ship sink just so Jimmy G can fail. And it wouldn't surprise me if his ego is that big.
Yeah. No, look, I saw Ryan James Chafee in the chat or in Facebook earlier on the power rankings saying that, he would move this team there, move that team there. I'm all right with shifting the teams around a little bit. Like if you have a different list than what I have, that's great. You can probably make arguments for maybe the Bucs being above the Chargers right now, because the Chargers are 1-0 and the Bucs are 1-1, and the Bucs are 2-0, and they have Tom Brady and all that. But it is the way it is, and that's why I have it there.
Well, just to clarify, this is the NFL power ranking, so it is who is the best of the best, like who has the most powerful team. It is not all about a computer, and if you have a name named Alabama attached to your name, you barely squeak by Texas, somehow you're still ranked number 2. It doesn't matter.
And I don't care what your team allegiances are, and I'm not going to succumb to your team allegiances just because you're a Packers fan. And, look what they did to the Bears, and they should be in the top. I also saw what they did against the Vikings, and I also know that my Bears aren't very good. So there's a difference there.
Right. All right, Combs, that's going to be it for tonight, guys. We'll be back tomorrow, 8 p.m. East Coast time, 7 p.m. Central. Any closing thoughts before we head out?
You still suck. Man Hour Nation, rise up. Take that damn Cowboys gear off.
Remember, I took away your shaved bet. You're welcome.
You're not even a Cowboys fan. Get the hell out of here.
Michael Parsons, the beast.
God.
As long as he pulls out.